Yo, it's JMac. We talking on a come up.
Yeah, I'm handing them out. I'm handing them out. Catch me banging it out.
Shoot, the name JMac. I think it was in high school. I just came up from a different state, so I came up from LA, and everybody was like, yo. And we actually just started, trying to get into some music, kind of at the time, but we were just kind of trying to figure out our group. They was like, hey, we see you over here, you over here macking, you over here doing all of this. I was like, you know what? JMac. I think we're gonna call you JMac. I was like, what? And everybody was like, all right, man, all right, JMac. I was like, all right, cool, okay, that's cool. Yeah, it was a name that was presented to me, and I just kind of took it in. What's macking? Macking is getting down, hollering at what you think is something of interest to you. So like if you find something that's super interesting to you, or like whatever it is, person-wise, someone be like, hey, bro, you about to go over there and Mac? And you're like, yeah, I'm about to go over there and Mac. Hence, JMac. What I did, I walked out there and I was like, how you doing? Chop it up. You just gotta get after what you see. If you see something good, get after it. You see something moving, move after it. Someone's hollering at you, don't mean you have to get after it, but just know you got the potential. That's macking to me, man. Macking to me is, almost when somebody calls it out and they be like, hey, you about to get down there and Mac? They see you over there in the corner, they see like, nah, he's valid. He's doing his thing over there. He's macking, he's getting down. LA was cool, man. I saw a lot of people, I was in a lot of places. I was fortunate enough to, do a lot of things and, be happy, doing those things. I would say that, it's a big difference between there and here. I'm in the 208 right now, but, while I was in LA, I was definitely, taking advantage of being around all the opportunities. So there's a lot, just like people say, there's a lot going on out there. It's a big city, there's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of working parts. It's cool to be able to come up here and kind of, chill out, mellow out, calm down, but also, take that big city energy and transition that to, to my everyday life up here. So people look at me and they see me, they'll be like, oh shit, you over here, you over there, you over there, you over this. Or sometimes I might be quiet. Sometimes they'll be like, oh yeah, you always in your thoughts, you always do your thing. I was like, you know what? I just been around this and that, front door, back door. I've been around this side, was that right side? I've been around left side. That's just a product of the city, man. You get in that big wormhole, and you're gonna get exposed to a lot of things. I'm numb to a lot of it, but I'm also accustomed to a lot of it. I'm open to a lot of it. All of it's, pretty chill. LA's been good to me. 208's been good to me. I'm here. My top inspirations in general, I'm gonna say Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant, was a dude that took a lot of challenges upon himself and was like, I'm gonna learn how to be the best at this. So that was one of my guys. That was definitely one of the people I looked up to. Honestly, number two, I'm gonna say anybody that has, the confidence to just move forward. I look up to people constantly, like kind of like every day. I kind of look, I take my days and I'm like, who am I gonna run across today that's gonna inspire me to do something else? So, a lot of the times it's not even just, a lot of specific people. It's just sometimes I'll just run across something and I'll be like, yo, that right there just inspired me to go harder, or to, switch my motive, or to switch my craft, or like to focus on something else. I'm constantly doing something that's what I would think is productive. So, I think I take that just from the pride of seeing what goes on in the world, bro. There's so many working parts in the world right now. There's a lot of businesses. There's a lot of people that, just kind of make success for themselves, just from the dirt up. I'm not holding my energy on, specific people no more, because you never know, it might be good for that day, and it might be good, and it might not be good the next week. So, a lot of people have bad tendencies. It's just kind of the energies I run across. That's with specifics. With music, the universal is Drake. Drake's been doing a lot of things I agree with, musically, intellectually. Big Sean is pretty much my favorite artist. That's a dude that literally taught me how to put words together and put words in front of words. Dude, if I knew who Big Sean was before I took a lot of my English classes, I probably would have passed in a little bit higher grades than I did. But a couple other people now, I really vibe with Tory Lanez. Tory Lanez, that's a lot of good music, a lot of good melodies. Somebody that I look like, that they say I look like, I'll say that I look like him, but Amine, you watching Amine, that's literally somebody, a lot of people, not even somebody, said I look like Amine. A lot of people said I look like Dwayne Wade. I don't see it. You know, Tory, Drake, Big Sean, Amine. I mean, there's a lot of other different like creatives, like a Tyler. I wouldn't say that I'll make music like Tyler, but just kind of like the energy and effort that he puts into it, you know, being able to, you know, create your own craft and being able to create your own shit and put it out and not really giving a fuck about what anybody thinks. That's something I take a lot of pride in doing musically. So I'm not gonna reach too far, but I think that's a good little area right there. I think my biggest fear is probably ending up doing something the rest of my life that I didn't want to do. Essentially, like creating a life for myself that I inevitably didn't want to fall into. And I think I've also presented and, you know, tried to create something that's more than what it is. I think falling back into any, you know, bad habit or like any like kind of bad energy that I might have put out into the world that I never wanted to do would be like, oh, you know, this and this is cool, but you know, I hope I never like do this and that, because I've already set myself at like a own personal pedestal of like kind of where I want to be at and where I'm trying to go, that I think just falling back and then not being able to get back up. You know, I mean it's a thing, like if you fall back or if you like take a step back or whatever, you know, that's cool. Like, you know, you can always recover, but I think it's just like being stuck in a setting or a mindset or like a lifestyle that you have been trying so hard your whole life to not be in. I think that's kind of like my biggest fear. You know, there's not a lot of things in life that kind of get to me, because I think life is life. You're gonna be going through the mud regardless. So you might as well take the punches as they start rolling out. But you know, I think it's when it comes to that, you know, personal mindset of like, yo, am I gonna be doing this the rest of my life? Am I gonna be doing this? Like, is this exactly like how my life path is supposed to be? And I'm like, as long as it's not that, I'm cool. If it does get into that, you know, I start worrying. I start trying to, you know, shimmy my way out of it. I think that's probably the biggest fear I can think of off the top. Upcoming projects, you know, I'm not gonna give a specific date, but I have an EP that's supposed to be coming out. That's probably gonna be followed by like some sort of a debut, not really debut album. I guess an album, because I haven't really put together like, you know, a full-fledged. Nah, I have. I'm capping. I'm not gonna lie. You know, for my standards, I'm always trying to up it. So I got definitely an EP that's gonna be at least, you know, 4 or 5 songs, and then that's probably gonna follow up with another project right after that. So, you know, trying to get them right back to back. I do probably have, you know, a couple crazy features, people in the city, people out of the city. It's really gonna be a testament to the JMac prophecy. I feel like I haven't tapped into a lot of the JMac energy in a while, and whether that's, you know, working with people, whether that's working with, you know, whether that's just doing my own tracks and like doing my own thing, but I'm really gonna put my all into you know, the next couple things that are coming out. I might just have to tag a couple people here in the city for sure. You know, I definitely have some people in mind, and it's gonna be easy living as soon as that shit starts rolling. It's up. I got features coming up. I got singles coming up. Shit, I'm using fucking ChatGPT to, it ain't gonna write my lyrics yet. You know, I'm kind of a little prideful to have ChatGPT write my lyrics right now, but you know, they can definitely come up with a little photo or something, help with the imagery. But I would say definitely, you know, within the next couple months, it's gonna be in the upwards direction. JMac season is coming in. That's what it is. I'm gonna go with my man Sean Don, man. I have to make a song with Big Sean, man. And I hope I get there before he retires, because I don't even think rappers really retire, but you know, just before he, you know, really starts putting it down. Just like I gotta see LeBron before he retires, man. I gotta make a song with Big Sean before he retires. You know, Sean Don, that's as I said, he's one of those lyricists that's just like, you hear his raps and you're like, man, how the hell did you even put that shit together? And I just feel like I'm at that level where it would just flow so well. You know, you look at that and you'd be like, oh yeah, these two artists, the comparisons I get already, people be like, oh bro, you sound like Big Sean. Like, hey, bro, you sound like Big Sean. People sound like I sound like 21 Savage. I don't get that shit. At least Sean Don, I'd be like, yeah, that's one of those artists. I'll be like, yeah, let me get into that. I can't even think. A couple R&B artists. You know, I feel like I'd vibe with Tory Lanez too. If Tory was like, yo, let's get that shit going, I'd be like, yeah, the Tory Lanez one would be fire too. I feel like I'm blanking on a couple female artists too. I'd probably jump into that water if there's a couple female artists that I'm not thinking of right now that will be fire. So if you are any female artists out there that be, you know, down to fucking rip one, I'm down. Door's open. I always have the door open for creativity and, you know, different artists and shit. So best movie. Man, you can't go wrong with Space Jam. Space Jam is one of them ones. I just rewatched, I wouldn't say it's my favorite one, but a really good one that I watched the other day, again, over and over. You know, Training Day, you can't go wrong with Training Day. That one's a good one. Space Jam is just, you know, one of those kid classics that's like, it makes you feel like you want to be, oh, like Mike is up there too. It makes you want to be like one of them ones. It just makes you want to be like the main character, you know, really get all the prize, you know, work for the prize, work your hardest. You know, there might be some, you know, some bumps and some grinds and shit, but, you know, at the end of the day, you get to the end of it and, you know, you get the prize, and it's just kind of like real heroic, you know, some you know, some storyline shit going on right there. I just like a good story. You know, that Training Day shit is like, I'm like, oh shit, I'm not supposed to be here type of thing. And then, you know, you come in, you know, you make the best choice you can, you come in, boom, boom, boom. But I was like a good story. I like my good actors, man. Denzel is definitely one of those dudes. You know, there's a lot of good actors. I like a little good funny movies too. I love Pineapple Express. Pineapple Express is a good movie. I love that shit. Funny movies be killing me. Man, there's a couple scary movies, but I wouldn't say that my scary movies are like really my favorite. I love a good scary movie story. You better not be doing that. And then they do it and you're like, ah, man, well, you better have a good explanation as to why you did that. And then they'll come up and they'll be like, oh, the plot twist ones, they'll be like, oh yeah, oh, he's about to be doing this, and they get you right there. They'll be like, oh, no way. So like, honestly, just a good ass story, man. Bro, if I could be an actor, I would take that role so fast, bro. I would love to be an actor, man. Actors are fucking actors. I don't know. I just love being able to perform. So, you know, that's a lot of the reason I do my freaking, I do this sport of tennis. That's just like a one-man army, bro. You can only rely on yourself. You gotta perform. You gotta give the people the performance. That's just a whole you and you only. I don't know, a lot of that performance-based stuff, I love that shit. So if I can find that in a movie, shit, that's gonna be one of my favorite movies, man. Go-to snack, well, they don't call me JMac for no reason, so I do love my mac and cheese. Bro, I'm like an Italian eater, man. I'll eat a freaking breadstick, Alfredo, a munchie though. I can't lie, I'll be on some healthy shit when I be munching, bro. I'll be getting down to like some fucking kiwis and some fucking grapes and some fucking yogurt and granola, bro. I was on my candy wave. I was on the Mike and Ike's. I would kill a whole box of Mike and Ike's. I would kill that every single time. I'd be fucking those shit up, bro. I'll fuck with some Twizzlers, bro. Bro, some Reese's, some Twix. Yeah, I had to lose my sweet tooth because I was getting in trouble with my dentist. So as I came from the dentist today, that nigga's gonna be disappointed that I just fucking smacked some fucking candy right now. But bro, a good ass apple pie or an apple cobbler. This is fire. Bro, you made me jump back into my sweet tooth right now. I'm supposed to be retired. That's my gas station. My gas station lineup right there. Bro, give me some fucking sour Skittles. Give me fucking watermelon fucking Arizona tea. Or the fruit punch Arizona tea, or the peach Arizona tea. You can rock with some JMacs, you know, get any of those. Bro, my fat ass will probably get powdered donuts if I'm really fucked up. I tried the Skittles gummies one time. I was kind of buzzing, I'm not gonna lie. They was kind of buzzing. You don't fuck with those? Hey, you don't fuck with those? Get a whole ass pack of Gushers from Costco one day. I killed that whole box in like 4 or 5 days. It was like 40 packs of fucking Gushers in there. Nigga, my diabetes is probably brewing. Other than that, you know, my go-to snack, bro, I vibe with a pizza so hard. Don't get me started on where I get that pizza from, because we got a spot over here that I really vibe at. It's called Kachi. They got a freaking, shout out to Kachi. Kachi got a fire-ass pizza over there. Because I'm not really like a big, like, Domino's, Pizza Hut type of group. Even though if Domino's is fire, I fuck with that crust. A lot of people are gonna be like, Papa Murphy's, Papa John's. Be like, yeah, but what if I'm not trying to cook that bitch? What if I'm not trying to go home and be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna pop this shit in the oven, bro. If I'm fucked up and I want a pizza, bro, I want this. I want that shit done right then. That's some go-to snacks for me. What am I telling the future self of myself in 5 years, bro? That's a trip. Because who knows what I'm gonna be thinking about in 5 years. Like, what if I discovered something new in 5 years? I'd probably tell myself to manage stuff better. Whatever I want to do, put that first and manage it to where you can do that like faster than thinking about like doing stuff. Because I feel like that's what I'd probably tell my past self right now. If I were to tell my past self anything, I'd be like, yo, anything that you wanted to do or think of, make sure you actually focus on doing that and box it together, you know, piece it up and actually like go towards doing that, rather than be like, put that like on like a shelf or like a side piece and be like, no, I'll get to that later. Like, it's not like, you never really know when there's gonna be a later. So, or if there is gonna be a later to do that, or there's gonna be a later period. Like, you don't even know, it could be lights out. I think whenever you have a really good idea, or just an idea that you might think is gonna be good, it might not be good, bro. All ideas at this point, you know, especially when you're young and your brain's like formulating all these random ideas. But I was probably my best artist, some of my best lyrics. Obviously they're super good now, but like some of my ones that I look back on, I'm like, damn, like how did I even come up with that when I wasn't even thinking? I didn't even think about putting that shit like somewhere or like whatever. I just put that shit out and I'd be like, damn, that shit was fire. I think just not even holding back and just doing what you're thinking of doing, like immediately, like right then. Do that shit now. Don't be hesitating for nothing. Yo, it's JMac. We just talked on a come up.